Welcome to the Lippis Report.
Hi everyone, I'm Nick Lippis and I'm at iSimCity where we've been testing the latest generation of both 10 and 40 gigabit Ethernet data center switching products that the industry has to offer. And with me is Michael Githens. Michael, say hi.
Hi everyone.
And we're going to be talking to you, doing a little bit different format in this podcast. We're going to talk about what we've been seeing in terms of trends over the last couple of cycles. We've been doing this this is our third test, industry test. We'll be doing another one in the spring of 2012, which we'll be testing a lot more 40 gigabit Ethernet products because there'll be more of them on the marketplace. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about what we did new this time around. So one of the new things was we did a virtualization scale test and a couple of other option tests that we offered to the vendor community as well. But more importantly is that there were some new products from Ixia that we got to use during this set of tests. So Michael, could you just tell them what we did that was new from Ixia?
Sure. So the setup we're using contains 256 ports of 10 gigabit and 24 ports of 40 gigabit in the load modules we're using. Right. So first new piece of equipment we're using is our XG12 chassis. So it's a newer model of our chassis that has more power and more cooling to it. Inside of that then we're using the Exelon Flex AP load module, which is a 16 port 10 gigabit load module. That's for the 256 10 gig ports. And then we're using two different new cards for the 24 40 gig ports. One is the Exelon Flex 4x40 card, which is 4 ports of 40 gig in one single load module. Yep. The other one is the Exelon Flex 10/40 combo card, and that contains 16 10 gig ports and 4 40 gig ports, and you're using either or. So you're either using one 40 gig port or the 4 10 gig ports that would make up that 40 gig.
Oh, I see. Great. Excellent. Great. So we had a lot more density this time and also more options around 40 gigabit as well. And yes, the new chassis and the fanning and the cooling and everything to be able to keep up with that huge amount of density that we're testing now.
Yes, of course.
Okay, excellent, great. Well, so now we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been seeing over the last couple of years. So Michael put together a couple of questions which I have not been able to see. So he's going to ask me a couple of questions about what we've been seeing over the last year and a half.
Well, so the first one, Nick, is just what have you learned from running these industry tests with us?
Well, I think one of the key things that we're learning is that these tests are really turning out to be kind of the litmus test for companies. You know when they're ready, because we've had so many companies that wanted to participate, for example, in this test, but they just weren't ready with their products. So, so if they come into these tests, you know that you can buy them, I think is the key thing, because we go through a lot of testing with them, and there's no stone kind of left unturned here. So that's one of the key things that I think I've learned. So this is becoming a rite of passage kind of test for the industry. The other thing is that we're seeing progressively occur is just the performance dimensions of these products. So meaning that every time we do a test, there is a new breakthrough in terms of the latency and how low the latency numbers are. Also, we're really just seeing how low power consumption is as well. Port density is increasing too, and then also a lot new features around virtualization, cloud computing, scale, and so forth.
So you hit on a lot of things there that you've seen. So in this round of testing, is there one big key new takeaway that you've learned from it? Maybe two things. One is that 40 gigabit Ethernet is here. We were doing top-of-rack switches with 40 gigabit downlinks in the previous test, and we did them here, but we've been testing them at full 40 gigabit here. So that is brand new. So I think what we can say to the industry is that you can start using 40 gigabit. The other thing is that one of the biggest switches in the industry that we tested was the Extreme X8, and that is a standout, and so you'll see that its numbers being reported in the report when it's available soon. But I think everyone will kind of look at that and it'll be a standout in the industry. That's good. So now where do you think the industry is heading the data center switching in 2012, and what's going to be the next progression that takes place?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a couple of things kind of come to mind. One is that the normal trajectory in terms of Moore's law. So we'll see higher density, we'll see 40 gig, we'll start to see maybe 100 gig availability during the 2012 timeframe. So I think all that stuff we'll see. We'll also see really low latency numbers starting to come out as well. Like on the top of rack switches, we're about 500 nanoseconds now as an industry. We'll probably see that go to a couple of hundred nanoseconds. From a power consumption in the core, we're going to probably be under a microsecond in the core of the network during the 2012 timeframe. We'll also see power consumption of less than 5 watts. In the core of the data center as well. So I think those kinds of dimensions is really what I'm expecting, for this year and what we'll be testing in the spring of 2012. And the other thing that we'll see, and that I'd like to try to wrap our minds around, is how we can start testing for more virtualized infrastructure. So kind of virtualized appliances, as well as the virtualization features that are being embedded and ingrained into these products now.
Okay, very good. And we enjoy having you in for these industry tests, Nick. So, we're wrapping up this one. So what's the next one in 2012? When will it take place, and what can we expect new in the test configurations that we'll be doing?
Yeah, great, Michael. And I love doing this stuff with you guys as well. I think it's a great service to the industry. But I think we're going to more than likely repeat what we're doing this round, because there were so many companies that just weren't ready yet. They tried really hard to get their products ready, but they weren't ready. So I think the test suite that we have right now is going to be applicable to the April timeframe. So we're tentatively scheduled for basically late March, early April timeframe for the next round of tests. The prospectus will be out more than likely in the early November timeframe for companies to start signing up for time slots. So I think that's it.
Great. Thanks, Nick.
Excellent. Great. Thank you, Michael.
That concludes this edition of the Lippis Report. Thank you for joining us.